And welcome to this week's edition of the Life and Legacy Show. My name is Tim Sechler from the Sechler Law Firm. I am your host of this show. I sponsor this show, and I think this show is fun, and I think this show is important, and I hope you find this week's episode important. This week, what I'm going to be chatting about is 4 calls that we've received in my office in the last week or two that just caused me so much frustration listening to these stories because there's so many things that maybe could have been done different or that we could have helped if we got involved sooner. And I'm going to use these couple of stories that are all related to sort of like the nursing home asset protection work that we do. Somebody goes in the nursing home and it's expensive. And in my law firm, a good deal of our work is helping people protect their savings, protect their homes so they don't lose it all to this somewhat crazy long-term care system that we have in this country that essentially makes you go broke. And so before I get into those 4 calls, I'd like to just sort of introduce the show here and a little bit about my law firm. So the Sechler Law Firm is located in Mars, Pennsylvania. We have several satellite offices and sort of see clients across all of Western Pennsylvania, dealing with a couple of issues primarily. So my 4 most common estate planning clients, or the 4 most common clients are estate planning, wills, trust, powers of attorney, and we do that from folks that are worried about long-term care costs. And then another type of client would be younger families that are planning to protect young kids. So those are really 2 times when people come and see us for estate planning, young families with little kids and want to name guardians, etc. And then toward retirement, we sort of have a reputation for helping people protect assets, protect their home, protect their savings from the nursing home, and that keeps us pretty busy. The other types of work that we do, I do post-death administration work. Last week's episode was all about that, and a couple of things you should think about in the days and weeks after you've lost a loved one. So if you find yourself in that situation, you need some guidance. That's something that we do at the Sechler Law Firm. Finally, we do what is called Medicaid crisis work or long-term care crisis work, which is really what today's episode is going to be about. The primary focus of that practice is to help people that are going through long-term care situations. Could be in the home, could be in a community setting, could be in a facility, and they find out, oftentimes the hard way, that care is pretty darn expensive, and until you essentially go broke, nobody's going to help you pay for it. And I just, from my standpoint, what we do is we help people protect assets, and that's great, right? We protect your savings, and it kind of registers to me that the reason that that's important is not just about the money, but it's about sort of what the money stands for. Because people work their whole lives to accumulate stuff. They work 40 years in a job they may enjoy, they may certainly not enjoy some days, and they accumulate this nest egg. We talk about savings all the time as sort of as a culture. We talk a lot about saving for retirement and all the rest. So we work hard to accumulate these savings, and to a lot of people, what that means is I'm going to be able to leave a legacy for my kids. Hopefully I have a fun and enjoyable retirement, but if there's some leftovers, I want it to get to my kids. But unfortunately, what happens in way too many families is right before or toward the end of life, they need some sort of long-term care. And if that means nursing home residential long-term care in particular, it's awful expensive. In Pennsylvania, it costs more than $130,000 a year to be in a nursing home. And there's not a lot of families that can do that for very long. So if you end up there, then there's a good chance you're going to end up broke. And it just seems to me like that's not the way this should go. There's something just philosophically wrong with penalizing families, penalizing seniors financially with the system that we have because of the healthcare issue they have. See, because if grandpa has a heart attack or cancer, his Medicare pays for most of the care associated with that. However, if grandpa has Alzheimer's disease and ends up needing custodial long-term care, well, Medicare doesn't pay for that, right? So we have a healthcare delivery system for seniors in this country that penalizes people based on the healthcare event that they end up having, which is largely out of their control. Why are we doing that? Why does that make any sense? And, I found this practice area because it happened in my own family. My grandfather spent a long time in a nursing home, cost a pile of money, and nobody knew any better. Nobody knew the that there were other planning opportunities out there. And so today's episode, we're gonna explain a couple situations that occurred. People called my office, and I wish we would have got involved a little bit earlier. If after the show you're looking for more information on this, you can find all kinds of information at my website, which is sechlerlawfirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com. You can give us a call for a free consultation if you like, or come to one of our upcoming estate and elder law workshops where I teach this stuff in pretty good detail to teach you how to protect your savings, your home, your family from this broken system that we have. All right, so getting to the content for today's show. I said that we had some calls in the last couple of weeks that really were sort of bothersome to me. And, you know, here's really what happens here. Many people end up not really planning well for long-term care. Even if you have a will, even if you have a power of attorney and whatnot, that doesn't mean you have a good plan in place for long-term care. And then people end up in healthcare situations, or they end up with mom and dad losing capacity, and now we're a little bit too late to do good planning. And people find themselves in situations that are worse than they really had to be. And I'll give you an example. So we had a gentleman call the office in the last couple of weeks who had lost a loved one. Had passed away, but prior to her passing away, she had been in a nursing home. She was a single person, and when someone goes into a nursing home and they go on Medicaid benefits, okay, so essentially they have to go broke, right? If I don't know the fact pattern in this one because we didn't get involved before, but let's say that mom had $100,000. If she was in the nursing home for 10 months, well, then that money's gone. Now mom's down to zero. Then she can apply for Medicaid benefits, all right? But in this situation, mom still had the house. Now, here's the thing about the house. Medicaid doesn't count the house. So if you need to apply for Medicaid benefits and you still own your home, you're allowed to become eligible for benefits and keep the home. And so lots of people assume, great, we're not going to lose the house. But that's not the end of the story. What happens next is when mom ultimately passes away, Pennsylvania, and every other state does this too, but Pennsylvania has a claim against the Medicaid recipient's estate that says, well, if there was anything left in the estate, then it has to be sold to repay the state of Pennsylvania for every penny spent on care. So essentially, if a single person goes into the nursing home on Medicaid and they own a home, Medicaid is not paying the nursing home. Medicaid is loaning that person money to pay the nursing home themselves. And then later, when the person passes away, Medicaid calls the loan. Time to pay us back. You still have that house? Shame on you. Sell it. Pay us back. And, you know, this is just such a abrasive system. You know, there are other states. Florida, for example, doesn't come after the house. Pennsylvania does, you know, and these different rules are so darn nuanced, state to state, and sometimes even county to county with how the thing works out, that bad situations happen like this. So gentleman calls our office. He's been living in this house, okay, ever since one mom went into the nursing home. He moved in and he thought he was going to get to keep the house. He's an only child. But nope, that's not how this is going to go. When now that she's deceased, we're going to get involved in the estate, but we have to reach out to Medicaid to say, hey, Mrs. So-and-so was on Medicaid. Now that she's passed away, what is your claim? How much does the estate owe you? And I suspect that the estate is going to essentially be emptied out by this estate recovery claim. And you know, it's just a shame. You know, I don't know this family yet. I didn't know mom who passed away, but I could bet she sure as heck and her husband didn't work their whole lives to end up losing everything they had to a battle with dementia. And you know, so what could have been done? Well, lots could have been done earlier. And you know, so these situations happen. People end up going broke, and the point I try to make by telling these stories is not just to like terrorize you with these terrible stories, but it's to encourage you to reach out and to get some help with some of these situations, because you don't have to lose your home in this situation if you plan ahead. Another family called this week and they said, well, they said, Dad has dementia, right? Um, doesn't probably have his legal capacity to be able to make some decisions. Can't really probably sign new documents. We don't need the nursing home yet, but we probably will, right? Okay, well, let's look over the situation. We look and I get my head around the assets and the savings and the value of the home. And then we come to review the financial power of attorney. So the power of attorney is a document that authorizes, in this fact pattern, the kids, but whomever it is for you, the ability to potentially move money around, make decisions, pay bills, whatever. And sometimes when the power of attorney is well drafted, it has the authority to move money around. So oftentimes when families come to our office and they're looking to protect assets from the nursing home, one of the things that we want to do is transfer money. We might transfer it to a disabled child, for example. We might, if they're married, we might transfer it between spouses. We might transfer to the kids. And Medicaid has this 5-year look back period. So if you have to be broke to go on Medicaid, let's say you want to apply for Medicaid on Friday. Well, Medicaid doesn't want you giving all your money away on Tuesday, right? That wouldn't make any sense. So they have this look back period, and it used to be 3 years, and it's currently 5 years, and there's always rumors floating around that they're going to try to extend that on us. We'll see. But right now it's a 5-year look back period, which means if you want to try to protect assets, it is best done 5 years before the need for the nursing home. Not to say that we can't do things when somebody's in the nursing home, but you save more money the earlier you plan, just generally speaking. And so this family reaches out. We probably don't have 5 years, and unfortunately, the family did not even have a really well-drafted power of attorney document. Right? So when we have the power of attorney document, that's a document that allows us to move money around. When we have situations where somebody's in the nursing home and it looks like we're going to lose everything, oftentimes we advise our clients to move some money. We do some calculations for them. We advise them to move some money, intentionally violating the 5-year look back period. And that incurs some ramifications, but the ramifications are tolerable depending on the fact pattern. And it works out in the long run that we can save our clients some money. Okay, so even though there is a 5-year look back period and there can be penalties for transferring within the 5-year look back period, there are good opportunities that you should take advantage of, and maybe you should do it anyway. Now, you don't want to do this stuff on your own. You need to call us. You need to call another elder law attorney who knows what they're doing, because if you just go and start gifting money, I don't want you saying, well, the radio guy said I could gift the money within 5 years. No. You can gift the money within 5 years with a well-designed asset protection plan, but you don't just go and give everything away. Okay, so if you're concerned about this stuff, come see us. Come see somebody like us. But there are some times that it makes some sense. Unfortunately, with this family, they called in, the power of attorney document does not authorize enough gifting authority that we could even move the money we want to move to be able to protect it. Okay, so it's a situation where dad already has capacity. We cannot sign new documents. He's not in the nursing home yet. We know it's coming. But our hands are tied with what we're allowed to do because of a poorly drafted financial power of attorney. And so, a lot of the time people come to one of my workshops, or they'll call after the show, or they'll just come in for initial consult, however we run into them, and they'll say, well, yeah, we have a power of attorney. Okay. But that's telling me you have a power of attorney is a little bit like telling me you have a car, right? Well, I'm glad you have a car, but you have a Corvette and we need 4-wheel drive where we're going, right? These things are not all drafted the same. So just telling me you have a vehicle doesn't mean it's a good vehicle for the situation. And the power of attorney document, if we're talking about nursing home asset protection, needs to be drafted by someone who knows something about the strategies that we implement when somebody goes to the nursing home. And so don't just assume that the power of attorney document you have that you either printed off the internet, or that some lawyer did for you 15, 20 years ago, or that the general practitioner did for you, is the one that you want if you find yourself in rough waters. All right, so the power of attorney document. So the lesson from the second call that came in was plan early, plan well, get good documents, and you're going to end up in a better situation because of it. Okay? Now, quick plug for the law firm. The Sechler Law Firm is your family's partner in all things elder law, estate planning, long-term care planning, post-death administration work. My main office is in Mars, PA. Happy to meet you. Happy to work with you. Oftentimes, we're able to work out free consultations. If you listen to the show and you'd like some more information, go to sechlerlawfirm.com. That's spelled Secler lawfirm.com. On the Sechler website, you're going to find an opportunity to schedule for upcoming workshops. You can check out some of our virtual workshops that we have. We just did one the other night. It was fantastic. I had 30 different families on the thing. They had great questions. And the webinar thing is new. We weren't doing that before the coronavirus came around. We were doing all in person. But now that I'm doing the webinars and we're getting a little bit better at it, my first webinar, I think I had like 15, 20 families sign on. And by like 25 minutes into it, I was down to like 6, right? Because I didn't know what the heck I was doing with a webinar. I didn't know how to keep people's interest on the thing. I was used to doing, in front of an audience, workshops. But the other night I think we had 27 families on. I think I had 26 families an hour and a half into it. So at least somebody was finding it valuable. Or, when you're doing webinars, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like recording a radio show. You're putting your thoughts out there. You're talking into a microphone. But at the end of the thing, you don't really know if anybody's listening. They didn't log out, but who knows? Anyway, that's just maybe a little psycho stuff going on in my head. But I think most of these families found it pretty useful. We got a bunch of initial consults, meeting new families, and helping them along the way. So check out one of the workshops. Check out one of the live in-person ones or one of our upcoming webinars. All that information and more, SechlerLawFirm.com. Okay, so the third story here was that a family essentially just called too late, right? So sometimes we're able to say to a family, particularly married families, if mom and dad and one of mom and dad needs to go to the nursing home. So let's say mom goes to the nursing home. Oftentimes, Pennsylvania has some really favorable case law out there that allows us to protect some significant money right now, even after somebody's gone in the nursing home. There's ways to transfer resources between spouses and protect assets, okay? And oftentimes, in a married case, we can protect, 80, 90% sometimes. Now, each case is different, and we need to evaluate yours if you got someone in a nursing home. But the takeaway is we can do some things to protect some money. Except this family didn't call us until after mom had already been in the nursing home for 2 years, right? So being in the nursing home for 2 years, well, nursing homes across the state, it's about $11,000 a month on average. So you work that out, and it's like, oh man, this is $250,000 that this family has already spent in the last 2 years paying for this nursing home. And 2 years ago, I could have protected 80, 90% of everything that they have. Now, they still have money, and I'm still going to be able to protect some of that money, but I could have done them $200,000 better had they called the day that mom went into the nursing home. And it just makes me so darn angry, because why? Like, why did this family not know? Why did someone not tell them, hey, go see Tim, or hey, go see some other certified elder law attorney? We're all friendly with each other. There's some good people. Go see somebody. Come see us. I'm happy to help you. But I think that there's this thing that happens in families that they just kind of freeze, right? I don't know if it's embarrassment. I don't know if it is not wanting to ask for help, not wanting to admit that you need help. But a lot of these families just don't seek out assistance, and sometimes maybe it's somebody's told them there's nothing you can do. Like, people read on the internet about the 5-year look back period, and they assume, oh, well, we don't have 5 years. There's nothing we can do now. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. There's all kinds of things that we still do. Yes, planning is done better ahead of time, and we use trust to protect assets ahead of time. But there's other tools and techniques that we can use to protect assets even after somebody's in the nursing home. All you got to do is reach out and call. Hopefully, when you reach out and call, there's either the person in the nursing home still has capacity, or whoever's helping them has a really good financial power of attorney, because those are the documents that allow us to do what we do. But if all of that lines up, there's really good opportunities to protect money. So if you've got someone in a nursing home, what are you waiting for? Give us a call, 724-841-1393, or check us out at SechlerLawFirm.com. It's a free consult in that situation. what do you have to lose? Maybe we take a look at the situation. Maybe we just can protect some money. So if you've got somebody in the nursing home, if you've got someone on their way to the nursing home, think of a nursing home admission as you would any other legal problem. If any other entity were coming after you for $130,000 a year, don't you think you'd go see some help? You know, if somebody were suing you for that kind of money, don't you think you'd go see a defense lawyer? If you had been injured and you thought that you had been injured that much, don't you think you'd go see somebody for some help? And but for some reason it doesn't happen all the time, and it's a shame. Okay. One other situation, and I'm running out of time here, but one other situation that has popped up in our office in the last couple of weeks was a situation where the family had the parent that had gone into the nursing home had a disabled child, and that disabled child had been dependent on mom and dad her whole life and needed mom and dad's financial assistance and had received mom and dad's financial assistance. And then one of the parents, it was dad, went into the nursing home and proceeded to pay privately for a while. And I guess maybe this is the same problem as the last one, just a different fact pattern to point it out. But Medicaid law doesn't allow you to give the assets away because of the 5-year look-back period, right? But there are some exceptions. And one of the exceptions is if you have a disabled child. If you have a disabled child, you can do some transfers to the disabled child, okay? So it's a situation where we're able to provide money that dad would very much have liked to have given to his disabled child to make sure that she had a better standard of living. But they hadn't done it. And there's not even a 5-year look-back period on those transfers. Dad could have given away 100% of his stuff to the disabled child and been immediately eligible to have his nursing home paid for by Medicaid. Now, when that daughter received money, if she is on needs-based benefits herself, the receipt of that money could be problematic for her. She might lose her Medicaid. She might lose her SSI. She might lose her benefits. But there's a way to do that in something called a sole benefit trust that allows the money to be used to improve the quality of life for that disabled daughter, does not jeopardize her benefits, and results in dad becoming eligible for Medicaid for his nursing home. So essentially, dad's money becomes daughter's money, gets to improve her quality of life. Dad gets the nursing home care he needs, paid for by the state. Family has not lost any money, and everybody's better for having made the move, except that dad didn't make the move. Dad had already spent 6 figures by the time we met him. Nobody had identified, oh wait, you have a disabled child? You can move money to a disabled child. And sometimes it's just as simple as somebody pointing something out that you didn't already know. Now, I guess I need to, we're getting toward the end of the show, and I need to do my little disclaimer. I am a lawyer after all, and I need to look after my own interests a little bit here. Do not make decisions based on anything you heard in this show or any other radio show. We're doing this show from an educational standpoint. I hope you also find the show informational, but this is not legal advice. If you have a loved one in a nursing home, you need a lawyer if you want to make decisions about these things, because every fact pattern is different. I just highlighted one where a disabled child matters, but giving assets to a disabled child, even if there is one, might not always be the right idea. Okay, this stuff is complicated. Unfortunately, it's extremely complicated. Philosophically, I don't even think I should have a job, right? You shouldn't need a lawyer to help you get the care you need when you have Alzheimer's disease. You just shouldn't. However, in our system, you do. And so don't hesitate to seek out that help. Okay, now, if you need additional help, if you need some additional information, check out our website, sechlerlawfirm.com. If you tuned in to the show late, this is the Life and Legacy Show. My name is Tim Sechler. I'm a certified elder law attorney. My main office is up in Mars, Pennsylvania. We help families across Western Pennsylvania, and I'm looking forward to helping yours too. Whether you need help with wills and trusts and planning ahead for these types of issues, or if you have little kids and you need to name guardians, if you have someone in a nursing home, if you've lost someone recently. Those are the types of cases we help people with. I don't do traffic tickets. I don't do divorces. I do estate planning and I do elder law work, and I look forward to meeting you and doing yours. If you need some information, I've got a free resource I'm happy to send you called the 9 estate planning mistakes and how to avoid them. So if that's something you would like, send me an email at radio@sechlerlawfirm.com or give us a shout at 724-841-1393 and let us know you'd like the document. Thanks for listening this week. I look forward to seeing you again or hearing doing the show for you again next week.